Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Yep, I'm back with another notebooking video today because I realized that there were a lot of ideas that I could share with you on what you can do with your kids when it comes to notebooking. Because a lot of people seem to get stuck on the same sort of writing, mainly narrations, essays, even lists of facts. A lot of times things that I've even recommended to you. But the fact is that there are so many other things that your kids can do in their notebooks, and I just wanted to make sure that you can reap the full benefits of it. Today I want to share with you the ultimate list of notebooking ideas because, yeah, I mentioned before, it can be too easy to get stuck on doing the same sort of writing when you're doing notebooking with your kids. And a lot of times that's why your kids end up getting bored with it. It's because you're not mixing it up enough. I have a huge array of ideas to share with you today. And you know what? First of all, I want to give a shout out to Jimmy Quick, the author of notebookingfairy.com, and Cindy Rushton, who also inspired me so much with her book on notebooking. 2 years ago, I did a review of both of those books. I'm going to leave the link in my description box in case you want to check that out and maybe get those books for yourself. They help me out so much. But again, yeah, a lot of these ideas that I'm going to bring to you today are actually from them. Now, since there are so many ideas I'm going to be listing, I am not going to get too involved in talking about every single one of them. I'm just going to kind of go through the list, and if I feel that I should elaborate on it, then I will. After I'm done sharing all of these ideas with you, I just have a few notebooking pages that I have picked out in my daughter's animal notebook so that you can get an idea of what some of these might look like. So let's get started with this list of notebooking ideas. First of all, essays, copywork, narrations. If you're not sure what a narration is, I do have a video on that. When I talked about narration in the video, I was talking about oral narration, but you can also do written narrations. All a narration is telling back what they learned. Some other ideas are character sketches. For example, if they learn about Benjamin Franklin, they maybe could do a biography notebooking page about him. Book reports, articles like newspaper style. Book and movie reviews. If you're learning about a specific topic with your kids and you read maybe a historical fiction with them, or if you watch a movie with them about it, have them write a review. See what they really think of it and how much they retained from it. They can do drawings and sketches. Clip art. Photos. Yes, so if your kids are maybe doing a nature study notebook, you can always take pictures of the trees, the creek, the flowers. Just because it isn't something that your kids have specifically written does not mean that it can't be included in a notebook. I think that a lot of people think of notebooks as being more like journals, and notebooks certainly can be like that. But you know what? I think that it's also fun to make them almost like portfolios. So kind of a combination of a journal and a portfolio. And so I think that it's Jimmy Quick who said in her Notebooking Success ebook that anything that can be flattened can be put in a notebook. So yeah, it doesn't have to be extensive writing. You can include things like clip art and photographs. Okay, you can also include pictures from magazines and books. You can include lists, recipes, quotes and sayings. Those are great for copywork. Verses, again, great for copywork. Any information that you find on your topic, whether it's something that your child has written down themselves, or if they come across something maybe at the library. There's printouts at the library desk, and it happens to cover something that they're learning about. They could even take that home with them, and they could put that in their notebook. Because remember, the purpose of a notebook is not only to help your kids enjoy writing, but it's also to help to make them an expert on that particular topic. So it's like an information book for your kids. So yes, they can certainly include things like that as well. Pamphlets and flyers, whether they make it themselves or whether it's one that they happen to pick up somewhere. Ticket stubs. If your child is maybe learning about a certain historical era and then they go to see a play about it or they go to see a movie about it, yes, by all means, you can keep that in the notebook. That would be a great thing to add with your movie review too. Newspaper and magazine articles, maybe not ones that your kids have written, but if they come across them. Again, this is a great way for your kids to learn to keep their eyes open for information. If they know that they're learning about a certain topic and they happen to notice that it's in the newspaper or it's in a magazine, that shows that they're paying attention. So yes, let them cut that out, glue it onto maybe a piece of cardstock and include it in your notebook. Timelines. Projects. Maybe they might not be able to keep, say, an entire hands-on project in their notebook, of course, because you can't flatten all projects, but they could include descriptions. They could take pictures of their project. They could include the plans that they have for it. They could include the results, any charts that they made, anything that you can do so that your child can maybe include a hands-on project, maybe not the entire thing into their notebook, but anything that can fit in there and that will help them to remember what they did is also a great thing for you to do with your kids. Let's see, maps. Maybe they could track routes. My kids already did a map of I think it was the migration of Arctic terns. One of the notebooking pages that I'm going to be sharing with you with my daughter is she actually had a map and she marked all of the areas where rats and ferrets are found. Let's see, they could also shade areas that they studied on those maps. They could place historical figures on them, which we actually had on this map that's next to me. Last year we learned about explorers, so we did have at one point the names of explorers all over the map to show where they came from. So if you don't have like a large map like that on your wall, it's a nice thing to include it in a notebook and have your child just do that right on their own reproducible map. They could do flags if they're learning about a specific country, have them just draw the flag, color the flag, put that in the notebook. They could make their own books, maybe out of construction paper or cardstock or mini books. And again, they could use their own paper, but you could also use the mini books that are available like on productivehomeschooling.com. It used to be called notebookingpages.com. It's the same thing, the same owner. She just changed the name. But yeah, there's mini books on there too that you could print out as well. They could do codes. My kids like to do that a lot, where they have like they make little symbols for different letters, and then they can have maybe a sibling figure out what it says and if it has something to do with whatever they're learning about. They could keep their vocabulary words in their notebook. They could write song lyrics, poems. They could copy excerpts of books. They could do creative writing. They could write a story that has to do with their topic. You could do writing prompts. You could give them a writing prompt to do. Or perhaps if they have a list of writing prompts that they've gotten online and it pertains to their topic, you can include those in their notebooks as well. Postcards, again, whether it's one that your child has made on their own or whether it's one that they came across that fits the topic, maybe at a souvenir shop or something. They could include copies of letters that they've written or received. They could tree and tombstone rubbings. My kids used to really love going to the cemetery that was by our house. That's actually where my father was buried and my grandparents were buried and my aunt was buried. And a lot of kids really do like to take charcoal and they like to do rubbings of the tombstones. That could be included in their notebook depending on what they're learning about, especially if it's a historical notebook and it fits in with that time period. They could include stamps. They could make paper dolls. They could make word puzzles, like crossword puzzles, word searches. My kids love making those. They could make their own jigsaw puzzles, of course, out of paper or cardstock, but just have them, draw a scene that has to do with whatever they're learning about and have them just cut it out into shapes. And then, maybe they could have a younger sibling put it together. But yeah, then you just put it in a baggie and you stick that in the notebook. They could make their own flashcards. Homemade board games. They could make some sort of crafts, maybe like origami, and then they could flatten that easily, and that they could include that in there as well. When my kids were learning about, I think it was Mesopotamia, they made ziggurats for origami. And so that was something that they were able to flatten and then include in their notebook. They could make masks. My kids made animal masks and they included those in their animal notebooks. They could make collages. They could write reports about field trips that you took, artwork that pertains to whatever it is that they're learning about, or if they find another piece of art, for example, if they're learning about flowers, specifically sunflowers, and then they find one, you know, oh my gosh, who was it that did the sunflowers one? I'm terrible. Was that Monet? Someone's going to correct me. I know, I don't remember. But yeah, if they come across one that a professional did, a print, they could also include that in their notebook as well. List of songs, books, poems, posters that they've made, hymns, research and notes. They could do illustrations of their topics with or without captions. Now, a lot of times my kids, they really love to draw. So I don't want to tell my kids, no, you can't just draw for your notebook all the time. So what I do tell them is, for my younger kids, I tell them, if you want to draw something, that's good, but you have to show me in your picture that something that you learned. Or if it's an older child, then yeah, they could do the illustration, but then just write, you know, a few sentences about it. But again, the same thing, the illustration has to show what they learned. They could make comic strips. They could include stickers. They could find stickers just to decorate their pages that have to do with the topic. Timeline figures, summaries, outlines. They could just, if they're learning how to write paragraphs, they could write paragraphs of their topic. They could make Venn diagrams, charts, graphs. They could do the brainstorm. What is that called? Mind mapping. They could include that in their notebooks. Free writing, number lines, logic puzzles, even paper math manipulatives if it fits into their topic. Again, anything that can be flattened, you can put in a notebook. Words and definitions. So for example, they could have a vocabulary section of their notebook. Coloring pages, whether it's ones that they draw on their own and then color, or maybe that you print out that just has to do with whatever they're learning about. Worksheets, handwriting practice, entire books of flags. Maybe if they've gone through several countries, or if they have learned about several states in a year, you could have them just draw a collection of the flags and keep them in a little flag book. Now, this is the entire list that I had written down. You might be able to think of even more, and I would love to hear if you have any other ideas that I didn't share here. But before I go, I told you that I was just going to share some examples of what these things look like. And we're going to go back to, I always go back to my daughter's animal notebook because she spent so much time on this. I just love using this. So here's an example of a comic strip that she made about rats. And in the comic strip, again, they have to include something that they learned. So she says, "Hi, I'm a rat and I'm a mammal. I'm a very good climber." And then it says, "Whoops, wrong tunnel. Let's go back." And then it says that he loves nuts. And he says, "Yummy, I love these nuts." So in this comic, she was able to let me know that she learned that they are mammals. They're great climbers and they like nuts. Now another one that I have here, he lost a little eye, but she used to like to draw just little pictures of them and label their body parts. So that's another idea that your kids can do. I don't even think that I said that. I might have said diagram. I don't remember. But, and here's just, this is just an example of the facts. Those are just ferret facts that she wrote down. And as you can see, she had some fun decorating with the stickers, their foam stickers or sparkly stickers. Not all kids will want to do that, but if they do want to let them do it, absolutely let them. What I like about the pages from Productive Homeschooling is that it gives so much variety. It gives them room to draw if they want it. For example, here, she was able to include 4 facts here, and then she could illustrate them because that was the page that she chose. Here's the map that I was talking about, where she mapped out where ferrets live and where rats live. Ferrets are in red, and the rats are the blue dots. Unfortunately, rats are everywhere. Phobia of mine. Okay, I'm okay with ferrets, though. Here is, I mentioned that they could include pamphlets. So here she just did she made her own pamphlet of a place called Ferret Island. And inside of it, she included like what she would charge for admission to get in and what it would include there. Now this one here, this was another I believe that I printed this one. Oh, this one is from the Notebooking Fairy with Jimmy Quick that I spoke about. Now, she offers notebooking pages for free on her website, so I printed this one from there. So she filled this out about a jellyfish. And here, she wanted to draw a pig when she was learning about pigs. This is like so awkward, but she wanted to draw pigs. So she drew her little pig illustration, and then she just wrote some facts for it on the back. And that's why it said pig facts when it was just the illustration. But anyway, yeah, this is really, really full. And as you can tell, it's falling apart because it's several years old by now, and she had to move on and start another animal notebook. But that's the fun part about notebooking, is that you don't have to do it any one way. Your child can customize it to however they want to do it, and give them the freedom to decorate it if they choose to. Give them the freedom to not decorate it if they choose to. Let them what sort of writing they want to do. If they want to do a map, let them do a map. If they want to do a flag, let them do a flag. I'm going to try to include the link to this list. Actually, I'm going to include the link to my free resources page on my blog because this list is on there. I'm not sure if I can include a link to a PDF in the description box, so we'll just do it that way. But yeah, that'll be there too, and you could always just go over to my free resources page and just print that out, and then your child can have this whole list that I talked about today right in front of them so that they don't have to feel like it's monotonous. Have fun with your notebooking. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one over on Instagram because YouTube disables my comments. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.